Well, good afternoon, everyone. Once again, it's Gordon here, and I want to thank you for the folks who may be dropping by. Today I have a very special guest, and I'm going to jump right into it. This is for the Waterfront Awards, and it's an incredible recognition for, women in our Greater Toronto area who have done outstanding things. And I've had the privilege of interviewing a number of nominees already, but not to take away from any one of them. This is someone I actually have known for a number of years. And every time I needed help with something, I would call her and she says, anytime. I mean,
That's my tagline.
yeah, anytime is that your tagline. So this individual, has a strong background in the financial services industry. She's known as the financial doctor. But as you get to know her, she is a best-selling author. She is serving our community, helping entrepreneurs. More importantly, you know what? Family is really important for her. And I want to introduce to you today one of our Waterfront Awards nominee, Annie. Annie, welcome.
Thank you so much, Gordon. And I really appreciate all the time that we are collaborating throughout the years in various, reasons in raising the bar and helping other entrepreneurs to reach their goals. So I'm also grateful to you. And thank you for today again.
Wow, thank you. Andy. So usually you're the one on the other side interviewing, right?
Yes.
So how does it feel now to be a special guest here yourself?
Well, I certainly appreciate it, Gordon. I mean, just as you said, anytime is the tagline, really. Any, the first name. But honestly, like, if you were a woman, I'm sure you would be nominated as well because you are fabulous, my friend. And it's just a little bit of a privilege to, you know, being born as a woman and have this platform, the Toronto Waterfront Awards. This is actually my second nomination in the leadership and business category, and it's quite impressive to share a platform with such amazing women who are making so much difference in the lives of others. So, yeah, grateful today again for you to, to provide this platform for all of us, but today specifically for me. So thank you, Gordon.
Amazing. Well, it's an honor for me to be able to interview you here. And I just before we get too far into this interview, I just want to remind everyone there's a link down here below. You should see that somewhere, and it's also in the post. All right. So please go and vote for Annie. It takes like 2 seconds, right? You click on the link, hit vote, and you're done. Okay. And so, Annie, would you mind sharing with us who is Annie? Like, what is your professional background?
It's actually interesting because every time someone hears a financial doctor, they start wondering, okay, what does it even mean? Like, is it PhD or why are you a doctor? And I always try to explain it to people when you are actually having a physical ailment and you go to a doctor, the last thing you want for someone to just simply give you a prescription, but rather you want someone who sits down with you, understands where you're coming from, where does it really hurt, but digs deeper to truly find the underlying cause and then actually help you throughout to build you up to your best possible health. And that's exactly what I do when it comes to finances. So, what makes me qualified to do all of this? Well, I have my master's in adult education, and I also completed all my financial licenses. So, I have my investment, insurance, and even real estate license. So, when it comes to wealth creation, I'm fully licensed to provide guidance and advice to my clients. But I also have completed the Bob Proctor program when it comes to mindset. And I have since then continued on this program. So I actually started back at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020. I'm also doing the NLP program, which is a Tony Robbins program. And it has really opened up so many opportunities, even for me to understand how everything really works together in a very holistic way, but then also coach my clients to guide them and prepare them to be successful. And your tagline is landed for success, and it all starts in the mind. So it's really important to prep people to see their opportunities and then actually go after them, because it's one thing that you that you know something that you have to do, but then you also have to, put it into action. And the other thing that I'm doing, obviously, is to connect my clients and my business partners with my circle so that together we can actually achieve beyond the wildest imagination. So, when someone thinks, okay, I may need maybe 5 years to reach this, give me that challenge. Let's make it 2.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And let me ask you this: you're with, I was going to say, one of the big five banks. You're probably with the biggest bank
Mm-hmm.
in Canada. You've been a top producer,
Mm-hmm.
and you're still investing yourself
Of
in your
course.
personal development and personal growth. I mean, you mentioned Bob Proctor. I mean, the best of the best, right? And then Tony Robbins, the best of the best. Talk to me for a minute. Why is it important for you? I know you just touched on it briefly, but why is you continuing to learn and grow yourself important?
Very good question, and I believe many people would be able to associate themselves with this. What happens is, and again, just going back to the doctor analogy, okay? Gordon, or anyone else who's listening to this, would you feel comfortable going to a doctor who has completed his or her medical degree back in, let's say, 1975 and never did anything else since to improve?
Ouch.
Likely,
Ouch.
likely the answer is no, right? So it's so important to really be the student of the business. And it's not just for when it comes to financials, and debt creation, but anything else as well. Because statistics are actually showing that if someone is winning the lottery, okay, and if they're really mindset-wise not prepared to handle such wealth, usually the money is evaporating within less than 1 year. And that's a painful realization. So, this is why it's so important to really work with individuals and business collaborators on a very holistic way, which also includes mindset. And of course, I'm not someone who just preaches something and don't do. I actually do everything else that I'm talking about. So I think it's important for me to understand as well how something can help. And I'm volunteering to be the guinea pig. And if it works for me, heck yes, I'm going to implement it and help my clients as well.
Wow, that's amazing. Annie, you mentioned you're the financial doctor. The analogy you gave is so amazing because I've actually had 2 knee surgeries from playing ball hockey, all that running. So I had surgery on both knees, and each time I made sure that I researched on whoever the knee surgeon was. I mean, I just like I research and research and research just to make sure that this person's performed it like not just once, right?
Yes, you're the first.
Yeah, at first, right? How long have you been in the industry?
Oh gosh, that's a loaded question because I actually have been working already in the financial industry back in Germany before I immigrated to Canada back in 2004. So I have been pretty much in finances all my life. Back in Germany, I've been working for a business law firm, so I was able to understand that component in terms of how anything and everything is prepared on the back end, including futures and options and anything before it even goes to the stock exchange. That would be the Frankfurt Stock Exchange back in the days. But everything else. And then from then on, I mean, oh my God, we had the privilege to work with some of the truly Fortune 500 companies, through the business law firm and traveling the world. So that was interesting and perfect for a 20-some-year-old individual professional. And then I moved to Canada, and it was pretty obvious that I want to stay in that field. So I did all my Canadian licenses as well. And then I worked for another major corporation, Fortune 500, in their investment division, investment management division for 10 years. And it was great. We were managing multi-million-dollar pension plans. But then what happened was, Gordon, I actually had a major car accident back in 2015. And I was not prepared for what came after, because many times people, especially in the financial industry, they only think about, okay, let's amass the money, let's grow it, right? Let's invest. But they don't think about plan B. What if something happens and changes your trajectory?
Wow.
And just as you mentioned, you're unable to work because there's some health situation going on. In your situation, it was me, you know, just it was the car accident, and I know people who had major illnesses such as, cancer, stroke, heart attack, whatever it might be. And the pandemic taught us that even mental can be huge, right? Before, people really didn't talk about it that much, but I think people are more open to talk about it, and that can be debilitated as well. So imagine someone is going through some health situation and they're unable to work. What's the first thing they do? They
Wow.
obviously dig deep into their savings that they build up for their future. Maybe they
Yes.
also put something on credit cards, which, as we know, are running on really high interest rate. And the next thing you know, to try to get out of the slum, maybe they even refinance their mortgage.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I went through all of this. I
Wow.
went through all of this. And that's when I
You-
learned that, investing alone is not doing the tricks. That's when I did my insurance license, because I said, if I'm going through this and I'm in the industry and I don't know about it, then probably a regular person certainly doesn't know about it. So it's my duty to share them my story and prepare them for truly becoming wealthy over time with, certain risk assessments, and then building up solutions for that, right? So yes, build your wealth, but also protect it, right? And then the mortgage refinancing taught me that. Wait a second, thank God for real estate. So I also did my real estate license, and then so once I was ready to re-enter the workforce after this disability situation, I personally have been looking for something that is truly Canadian, financially extremely stable as a company, but at the same time provides amazing values that I can associate myself with, and also provides me the freedom to do what I want to do for my clients. So even though you said I work for a bank, actually, I don't work for the bank. The bank is only one of the subsidiaries under the umbrella. And I know that we don't want to give advertisement, but it's a three-letter financial group. And I happen to be working for one of the intermediaries under that umbrella. And that's why I am allowed to provide what I'm doing for my clients, a very holistic solution in all aspects, and also refer them out to my business partners as need be.
Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing. You have such a wealth of knowledge and experience in the banking, in the financial services world. Sometimes I run into folks who they just got licensed yesterday. Right?
Yes. Well, we all start somewhere.
Yeah. And you've experienced it. Like you mentioned that car accident, right? How many of us never think that would happen to us?
Mhm.
Can you remember, without using any names or incriminating anybody, can you think of a situation, Annie, where you were able to serve a client and something unexpected happened, and if it wasn't for the services you have already had in place for them, oh my goodness, right? Like the tragedy and the
I'm
trouble.
I'm actually happy to provide two examples, and I think it's okay.
The reason why I'm
Yes.
asking that is,
Yeah.
as the folks are listening, like I am, even though we're here to honor you as a nominee for the Waterfront Awards, and I do encourage people to please go. Here's the link to vote for you, Annie. I
Mhm.
think what you're going to share is really important, right? Because there's so many people who think it's never going to happen to me or my family.
Absolutely.
When something
Um,
happens,
yeah.
it's too late, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to cut you
So
off. So go ahead, Annie.
So one was an example from 2018, and I could name many, but this one particular is very dear to me. And the other one actually happened during the pandemic. So I'm going to share both, if that's okay, to really bring it home to people how anything can change at any given point,
Absolutely.
right? So, we talked about a car accident, and that can happen really at any given point because most of us are driving cars, right? But many people don't think that, oh, I'm healthy enough, nothing is running in the family, I should be fine. Well, guess what? This person, and his name is Mike, and it's okay to say it because thank God it's a very common name.
Yeah.
But he came to me back in September, October 2017, and we started discussing investments and insurance, right? And then people think, oh my God, insurance is a swear word. But really, if you think about it, everything is insurance. As soon as you put your seatbelt on, it's insurance. As soon as you put your sunscreen on, it is insurance. So if you're actually thinking about insurance as a plan B to manage the risk of life, to make sure that you maintain your wealth, then, and there are solutions that are actually creating wealth inside insurance, but that's a whole different story. So anyway, so Mike came to me and said, okay, listen, I like to make sure that my income is protected. What about life insurance? We have mortgage, we have 2 kids, just, talk about it. And I don't want to bore the audience with any of the details, but the bottom line is that we were able to create a very holistic solution on income protection, business overhead expense protection, because, he was a business owner. And there are actually solutions where you're able to protect your business so that anything that is a regular expense is taken care of in case you can't work, and you can even write off the premium from your taxes. So very, very smart solution. And at the same time, we created permanent insurance, not just for him, but also for his family, including his 2 boys, where we had a part that took care of any immediate financial obligations, such as mortgage, lifestyle of the family, the kids' education, and so on. But we also created a part that is not only going to protect him forever, no matter how long he lives, but creates wealth inside a policy, tax-free wealth, by the way, that he can
Tax-free.
access, absolutely, that he can access at any point in the future as we planned it. He wanted to aim for an additional income in his retirement age. And and so we did that for him, for his wife, and the 2 kids. So everything was fine. Obviously, it required some underwriting. Underwriting means that the insurance company is taking some risk assessment and making sure, okay, everything is fine. We can issue the policies so that in case there's a claim, there is for sure a payout. Long story short, by November, everyone's policies have been issued. They were fine. Obviously, they were celebrating Christmas well. So this is all 2017, right? So now Mike is going to his annual checkup in March, and his 45th birthday is in April. All right. So this is what, like 4 months in the policies, something like that. And so that's when the doctor says, Mike, it looks like we have an issue here, and I want to make sure this is checked out. He was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and a type that is a fast-growing one. So you're a gentleman, so you will appreciate it that, there are different cancers out there, and some cancers are, very well treated, not just with radiation, but chemotherapy. But this particular prostate cancer needed surgery and radiation. So chemotherapy wouldn't have worked anyways. And because it was a fast-growing one, as a specialist, noticed based on, the results, including biopsy and things like that, they needed a surgery immediately. So they booked him in for the first week of May. Anyways, long story short, he was nice enough to share his journey and also the date of the surgery. So once I found out when it is and which hospital, I dropped everything for the day because I wanted to be there and, making sure he's fine. So his surgery was fine. Thank God he was in good spirits. And, we were just joking around in his room. Hey, welcome to the club of the C-section people. And, thank God he was fine as I came in with, the chocolate and the card and things like that. But I remember his first question was, Gordon, Eni, what's up with the policies? Because it was so fresh, right? Yeah. And I said, listen, Mike, no problem. Remember, we did all the underwriting up front. We knew that you were fine. And at that time, he was fine. There was no contraindication, right? So sure enough, we paid. So we paid the critical illness, which pays a large lump sum tax-free when someone is diagnosed with any of the 25 life-altering issues, including cancer. And so they were able to just put it, against their down payment, against their mortgage, because, thank God he was fine after the surgery. He didn't need anything else after. But, he needed to be off from work for a little while. So obviously the income protection kicked in as well. Now, here's one little pain nugget in this story. Back in the days, in the income protection component, I asked him, okay, would you like to build in something that we call a future income option? And a future income option just simply means that right now we know that you're healthy, okay? So if your income is going to grow in the future and you anticipate that it will be, then no matter what happens in life, no matter how your health might or might not change, all we need at the anniversary of the policy is some financial proof, whether it's a T1, whether it's pay slips, whatever the situation for someone, and we just simply increase your benefit. That's all we need. Now, because of budgetary reasons, back in the days, he opted against this component. Now, as a cancer survivor, you're unable to actually qualify for this type of coverage in the future. So what
Mm.
we had to do, we actually had to redo the wife's insurance and add what we call a family compassionate rider. So in case he gets cancer again, then
Mm.
we can also claim in addition on the wife's policy, not just on his, because his income actually doubled since. So the reason why I'm pointing this out, because yes, it's a positive story for them, but there was this
Yes.
little nugget. And I have his permission that ever since I'm sitting down with someone, I explain the importance of really making sure that at the time when you apply for it, you choose the right things for you. And
Mm.
sometimes, honestly, that extra $5 or something monthly is going to make a whole big difference for you in the future. So that's just one that I wanted to share because 45, I'm sorry, it's not an old age. It really is not.
That
But,
is young, right? So young. It's
right? And guess what? The policy is paid, and they're still, the life insurance is still continuing. Everything is good. He still knows
yes.
that he's building something for his future. And obviously, we are managing his investments as well, and is really, really happy with that too. Now, that being said, something else from 2020, what happened 2020. It's relatively fresh in everybody's mind. The pandemic started in March, right? Well, in
Yes.
North America, it started in March. And so this was actually an introduction from one of my contacts who was doing mortgages. And so this couple, freshly bought a home, had fresh mortgages and so on. They are immigrants from an Asian country. And, it was discussed that it would make sense for them to also set up something that is maybe, like life insurance that is not just, taking care of the mortgage and the immediate obligations. They had a small son at that time, and the
Mm.
wife was already pregnant with number two, but perhaps also create some wealth in the future. Long story short, we had one meeting. They liked to hear the story, but they wanted to say, "Hey, you know what, let's just work out the budget." Obviously, everyone was scared. At the beginning of the pandemic, it's like, okay, what will happen with money coming through the door? We want to be budget conscious. I completely respect it, right? My job is to educate. Your job is to make a decision. The ball is in your court at that time. We set up a few more meetings, and every single time it was, oh, we still need time. And you know what? At one point, I didn't make any more appointments because I'm like, you know what? We discussed everything. At this point, there's nothing more from my end. Like, you let me know when you want it. It's all cool, right? I never push. My job is to educate. Your job is to make a decision. And you know my number, right? So long story short, so this, like I said, the first interaction was March, April, something like that with this couple. End of December, my phone is ringing and the gentleman is on the line. He's like, Eni, I want that insurance that you mentioned. My first question was,
Wow.
what happened? Because
Yeah.
when someone calls you out of the blue and they want it, usually something happens.
Mm.
Guess what? He was diagnosed with stage 3 brain cancer after he fell and became unconscious. And they wanted to make sure what happens in his brain.
Mm.
So clearly he was no longer insurable. However, what we did, and Gordon, this is important for you to hear, we actually did set up insurance on the wife, including the critical illness that I mentioned, which is the lump sum tax-free. But our critical illness policy also includes what we call a best doctor's rider, and it comes for free. And that's something that you can gift to your immediate family members.
Wow.
What it does, you remember when you said about
Yes.
the specialist, you wanted to make sure that whoever is, going to be your surgeon is a well-established person. Guess what? The best doctor's rider gives access to whoever is the best in the world. And because it was something that the wife could gift him, like to make sure that that particular individual and his doctor team here in Canada was able to work in tandem. This person is still alive.
That
3 years
is
later, still alive. Okay. So what I'm trying to get out of this, and I know that many people, again, don't understand what else is in
yes.
insurance, but it's more than just the money that is paid to you and the financial security. Sometimes it truly saves your life,
Saving
right?
lives, right?
Yeah.
I love that. What a beautiful story. And
Thank
it's
you.
a true story.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
would you just describe I remember somebody says, you don't know what you don't know. So you just
100%.
gave an example of somebody who may be thinking, well, I'm not insurable, so they give up. And the lesson you just taught me is don't give up. Like find someone who truly knows what they're talking about. Like Napoleon Hill talks about, get wise counsel. Sometimes we try to get financial advice from our broke uncle. No offense to my broke uncle, right? Does that make sense? Anybody could give us opinions, but get wise counsel. And I love you how you said about educate, educate. If any of our friends that are watching right now, if you think, oh, that's really interesting, what Annie just said, and you don't have a financial doctor, I highly recommend that you reach out and have a conversation with Annie. If you need to get a hold of Annie, um, just contact me. I'm more than happy to connect you with her. Annie, I'm going to switch gears for a minute, but thank you so much for sharing those two amazing stories with us. I want to go back to the Waterfront Awards.
Mhm.
It is, as you know, this is your second year. It is such a fun event. It's red carpet. The people you're going to meet there is just unbelievable. I remember there was a woman there playing the grand piano, right? Like I play a little bit of piano by ear. My kids tell me I make noise, but the person who was there, wow. I mean, it's just a fun evening, and you meet so many amazing, wonderful women, like you mentioned, in their achievement accomplishments. If you did win the Waterfront Awards, what would that what would that mean to you if you were to win?
It's an interesting question because I think if I win, then we all win, everybody in my circle, because I'm not doing this alone, right? You remember how I told you that, I'm referring out to my circle so that my clients can truly benefit from everybody's profession. And it's not just the typical, referral circle for anybody financial, such as, an accountant, a lawyer, an estate lawyer, or a bookkeeper or whatever, right? Or a mortgage person. It's everybody. Just as you mentioned, I have been, writing books, and I'm, best-selling author of 5 of them, and there was a 6th one as well that I just put out there because I wanted to help prospective new immigrants to Canada to give them some tips and tricks. So that was that as well. That's my 6th book. I have been partnering with someone, and we have been in the past publishing books as well, and you did that as well, and you're still doing it under Landed for Success. So if someone wants more visibility, we help with that as well, to make sure that whatever they have to share with the world is really reaching masses, because
Yes,
that's how you create 2 win-win solutions and so on. And thank you for blending in my bio. I'm actually doing a lot of charity as well. So
amazing.
if this is going to be a reality that I win, not only do I consider that we all won, every single person who was part of my circle, and obviously my clients as well, because it was one of my clients, and business collaborator who actually nominated me. So kudos to you if you're watching it. But what it means also that, and this is my promise to everyone, that I will be out there even more for even more education for others to how to create true wealth, how to actually keep it, and how to optimize their taxes because it's important in Canada. But at the same time, I also want to make sure that I dedicate even more time in volunteering and helping other causes as well. It's not just the global citizen, but
Yes,
lately I have been putting in a lot of hours and a lot of dedication for $1 Million Smiles, and that charity is very, very close to my heart because it's helping families who have children with life-threatening illnesses or special needs. And the reason part of the reason why it's so dear to me, because my kids actually have helped with the bear drive last December.
that's
So my teenager was helping
that's so
with the
wonderful.
prep, and then with the delivery also the little guy. So both of them, and they see now they can associate themselves more because they see those families, they see those kids as well. So I know that with that, I'm not just helping the families and the charity, but I'm helping my own kids as well to understand that there's way more out there in the world than just, our little circle. Like
Yeah,
we are part of a much bigger circle, a much bigger universe. And when you put out good vibrations, you are creating a tsunami of goodwill and good energy out there. And we should be all part of that.
Yeah, I love that. You you we're talking about financial legacy. You're helping your clients leave for their families. You're leaving financial legacy for your kids, but more importantly, I also see showing them it's not just the money. Like, what do we do with the gifts that we have, and will we be blessed with how we can give back? My Many of my wife's clients have actually benefited from $1 million smiles. So that is such a wonderful charity for you to be involved with. And well, thank you so much for being here today. I love everything you're doing. And again, for all our friends who are watching, please go do it now. Like, don't procrastinate. Like, Annie's done her job, right? She's out there serving her clients, her community, and you just got to go there. You just have to do one thing: click on the link, hit vote, and you're done. And tell some of your friends about it. And more importantly, come down to the event, right? Get a ticket, come and join us for that day, and come and meet Annie in person. Annie, before we go, do you have any? Oh, you know what I love about you? What you said. Anytime is one of them. So remember that. And the second thing that I learned from you was, how can I forget now? This is called old age. Oh, if I win, then we all win. I love,
Absolutely.
I love what you said there. So, any final thoughts, Annie, before we go?
You know what? And then back to the mindset game. And I know that you're very big on that, Gordon, right? Um, I think if we are working on us first and foremost, that will really help to become the best version of yourselves so that you can help the most people. And so, again, it starts in your mind and in your soul, but then what are you giving out? And the truth is, and back to the financial doctoring, honestly, if you're financially stable, it really allows you to be diversified and help others and actually volunteer your time and volunteer other things as well, volunteer your finances as well, to truly multiply the good out there. So I do encourage everyone to work on you. And if you have any questions, even, just what am I doing with my business? How do I take it to the next level? Feel free to reach out for a complimentary consultation. If you want to learn about tax-free wealth growth in various
Love that
instruments,
tax.
including insurance,
You
like
got my
Gordon, I'm not
you
kidding
got
you.
my ears tax free.
Big time. I have clients who even set up these wealth creation instruments for their kids. Over the
Yes.
life of the policy, they pay in anywhere between 24 to 50 some $1,000s, but the kids will be able to access over $1 million. Okay.
Oh,
And they still leave a legacy to the next
incredible.
generation. And this is just, and I'm talking about kids, but it can be anybody else as well. So there's so many wealth creating opportunities. And
Amazing.
if you just want to tap into my network and you want to find out, okay, can you give me, a recommendation to an image consultant, a hairdresser, whoever that might be, sure, no problem, right? Again, it's about giving and helping others and create a win-win solution. That's it. That's what it's about.
That's amazing. Annie, we probably need you to come to one of our Landed for Success event and teach our members on how to create wealth. That would
I
be
would
so
love to do that. Thank you. That's
amazing.
an invitation. How
Uh,
many people are watching? Those are
yeah, right? Well, what a wonderful time here with Annie. You guys, if you're watching, once again, please go forward right now. Annie, thank you so much. Not only are you being such an incredible example for your family, your kids, but I watch and I see you on social media. Love everything you're doing. I do actually have one question. Like, you're traveling. I mean, COVID's over. What's one of your favorite places? Would you mind sharing? Like, what's one of the favorite places you been travel to, and why? Like, why would be one of your favorite places to go to?
okay. So there are plenty of places that I love, and as you know, I am from Europe, so obviously Europe is very dear to my heart. Um, Lately, I have been traveling a lot to Hungary, and I was born in Budapest, Hungary. And it's funny to see how over the decades the city has evolved and all the changes. And I can safely say that at this point, I am a tourist of the city because I haven't been living there in, gosh, I don't know, it's over 30 years at this point,
Wow.
I think. But it's beautiful to see what they have done and
So
how.
you must have left there when you were one, because you haven't been
Gordon, well, thank you. It's a very interesting city because geographically it's beautifully laid out. That you have the hilly part, which is Buda, then you have this major stream of river called the Danube, and then you have the flat Pest, and it's a combination of culture to travel and see amazing architecture, amazing history, through, for Europe as well, but at the same time also to have these nature excursions and go on the west side of the city, and everything is really just a train ride away. So if you want to go to the largest sweetwater lake in Europe, which is Lake Balaton, you can do that as well. And for instance, Vienna, which is one of my other top favorite cities because of all the music, and that
yes.
I'm all about music as well. It's only a 3-hour train ride as well, and
That's it, eh?
yeah, so yeah, highly recommended.
Well, maybe we're related. My mother-in-law is from Germany. Like she's
There you
German,
go.
right?
Hmm.
So, well, that's obviously amazing. I mean, one of the richness in life is experiencing just being able to travel, right?
Yeah,
And how do you do that if you're not financially free?
true. True. So you will literally have to create multiple sources of income, including passive income. And that's also something that I'm teaching people. So absolutely, I agree with you. I think
Wow,
you and I are on the same wavelength, my friend.
absolutely. Well, I'd love to have you back, another time. We can maybe deep dive more into some of these subjects. But in the meantime, you guys, Annie, thank you so much. It was a lot of fun. And please, once again, go and vote for Annie. And more important, come and meet her in person. You guys will absolutely fall in love with her if you come and meet her in person. Annie, thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for
Thank you.
watching. And until
Thank
next
you, Gordon.
time, have an
And
amazing day. Go ahead, Annie.
I'd just like to say one more thing as well, because we see Karim's picture, but we haven't mentioned him. So he is actually the father of the Waterfront Awards. So I'd like to thank
Yes, yes,
him personally as well
yes.
for putting this together for a number of years to provide a platform for all these high achieving business women. And
Yes.
I actually thank him personally because he was the one who messaged me super
Yes.
late in the evening just to let me know that I have been nominated. I'm like, oh my God, Karim, this is awesome. Thank you. So Karim, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, you deserve it. You definitely deserve the nomination. And when you win, we're gonna celebrate.
I appreciate that. And even if we don't, we still
We still
celebrate.
celebrate. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good day.